This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Ramesh Piris and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The Prime Minister examines the progress of rural housing projects. Indian envoy tours North and the East to meet the political heads and assess India-funded projects. The Attorney General files indictments on Hizbullah and Shakir. 22 volumes of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry report on Easter Sunday attacks handed over to the Attorney General. COPE instructs to expedite the amendment of the environment-related laws of the country. Over 750,000 vaccinated so far. In news overseas, US President Biden aims to get US closer to normal by 4th of July. And in sports news, in cricket, unchanged West Indies bowling, Sri Lanka pick Fernando and Thisara. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the local news. The Prime Minister, Mahinda Rajapaksa, today reviewed the progress of the rural housing projects. He made inquiries today in this regard during the progress review meeting of the State Ministry of Rural Housing, Constructions and Building Material Promotion. The Prime Minister also paid his attention on the projects in the building construction sector and their progress. Work on 6,744 rural housing projects has been completed last year under the theme A House for You and a Future for the Country. Another 14,022 houses are to be completed this year under the rural housing projects. Constructions on 1,917 houses have already begun. Prime Minister Rajapaksa also reviewed the progress of the housing projects implemented on behalf of the parents of the Buddhist monks. The Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagle has undertaken a 4-day tour of the northern and eastern provinces and to interact with the cross-section of society there, including the political leaders, and inspect the projects funded by India, which are in various stages of implementation. The High Commissioner also visited the places of religious worship. This is his first visit to the two provinces after he was appointed Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka. The Attorney General has forwarded indictments against attorney Hizbullah and the principal of the Putala Madrasa School, Mohammad Shakir. Coordinating Secretary of the Attorney General, State Counsel Nishara Jayaratna said the indictments were directed to the Putala High Court on charges under the Prevention of Terrorism Act and the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. Hizbullah and Shakir are currently in remand custody until the 18th of March. Hizbullah was detained on charges of links to the suicide bombers of the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks and engaging in extremist teachings at the Madrasa School in Puttalam. Meanwhile, the Madrasa School principal Mohammad Shakir is accused of harboring attorney Hijaz Hizbullah. 22 volumes of the report by the Presidential Commission into the inquiry of the Easter Sunday attacks have been handed over to the Attorney General's Department by Presidential Secretariat. Coordinating Secretary of the Attorney General, State Counsel Ishara Jayaratna said the 22 volumes were handed over today, containing evidence provided by witnesses before the Commission and sensitive facts. 65 volumes of the report were submitted by the Presidential Secretariat to the Attorney General's Department on the 2nd of March. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get a home loan now with attractive interest rates only from People's Home Loan.
And we continue with more local news. The Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health announced that 7,450 individuals have been vaccinated yesterday. Accordingly, the total of 759,548 individuals have been vaccinated the COVID-19 vaccine since January 29th. Meanwhile, COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka surpassed the 87,000 mark today. 115 new patients were identified thus far today, raising the total infections to 87,104. 397 individuals recovered and were discharged, increasing the recoveries to 83,958. 2,626 individuals are currently being treated for COVID-19, while 372 persons suspected to have contracted the virus are under medical observation. Health Minister Pavitra Vanniarachchi today launched the first phase of the COVID-19 vaccination program for the senior citizens in the Colombo Municipal Council limits. The Health Ministry said the vaccination program was slated for senior citizens who are above the age of 60 years. The program was initiated at 2 elders' homes located in Rajagiriya and Malabe. Addressing the event, the minister said the 264,000 doses of Oxford AstraZeneca Covishield vaccines that were received under the COVAX program will be administered among the senior citizens. Meanwhile, the principal advisor to the president and the chief of the Presidential Task Force on Procurement of COVID vaccine, Lalit Veeratunga, speaking at a public forum today, said the second consignment of 500,000 Covishield vaccines from the Serum Institute of India is expected to arrive in Sri Lanka within the next 2 weeks. He said that Sri Lanka has made a payment of 5 million doses of Covishield vaccine. The Foreign Ministry in a statement said a regional consular service in Trincomalee in the Eastern Province will be opened tomorrow. The statement further said Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena with Foreign Secretary Admiral Professor Janath Colombage will lead the ceremonial launch of the regional consular service at 2 p.m. to give impetus to the national policy framework of the government, vistas of prosperity and splendor by strengthening the productivity of providing services to the people. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The Prime Minister examines the progress of rural housing projects. Indian envoy tours the North and the East to meet political leaders and assess India-funded projects. The Attorney General files indictments on Hizbullah and Shakir. 22 volumes of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry report on Easter Sunday attacks handed over to the Attorney General. COPE instructs to expedite the amendments of the environment-related laws of the country. Over 750,000 vaccinated so far. And that was the local news.
Pay the interest on your own home without paying rent for someone else's. Get a home loan now with attractive interest rates only from People's Home Loan. Enjoy the option of paying only the interest for the first 5 years.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, while it was revealed that Sri Lanka has imported 3.5 billion kilograms of plastic products from the year 2012 to 2018 at a total cost of 18.4 billion rupees, the Parliamentary Committee on Public Enterprises has instructed the Secretary to the Ministry of Environment, Dr. Anil Singha, to expedite the amendment of the environmental-related laws of the country. The Parliamentary Media Unit, quoting COPE Chairman Professor Charita Herath, said the Ministry Secretary was asked to be blunt the influence made by certain organizations to prevent the amendment of such laws. COPE has also stressed the need to maintain the quality of food packaging in Sri Lanka and has also highlighted the need to use degradable material for packaging. COPE further stressed the need for the implementation of a national solid waste policy. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Watchlight tonight, the police have launched an investigation to locate a group of racketeers who directed the 24 persons arrested while attempting to flee to Canada via sea. The police media spokesman, DIG Ajit Rohana, said many such cases of human trafficking were reported between the year 2014 and 15, with similar incidents gradually declining. The police media spokesman reiterated that persons attempting to leave the country illegally will face ramifications. And that came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. The US president aims to get US closer to normal by 4th of July. China officially justifies Hong Kong electoral reforms. Nagpur becomes the first major Indian city to return to lockdown. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. US President Joe Biden has unveiled a strategy to beat the coronavirus pandemic and get the country closer to normal by the Independence Day on 4th of July. Biden gave his first primetime television address last night, the first anniversary of the pandemic lockdown. Biden said he will direct states, tribes and territories to make all adults eligible to receive COVID-19 vaccine by May 1st. He added that families and friends should be able to gather again in small groups by 4th of July. He said it will make this Independence Day truly special, where we not only mark our independence as a nation, but our independence from this virus. A senior Chinese official says the proposed electoral reforms for Hong Kong do not mean all pro-democracy candidates will be excluded from elections. The Deputy Director of Hong Kong Macau Affairs Office, Jiang Xiaoming, explained the reforms approved by China's National People's Congress the day before. Chinese authorities say they are to promote governance by patriots in Hong Kong. The proposed changes include launching a new panel to screen candidates, particularly for Hong Kong's Chief Executive and the Legislative Council. Nagpur in Western India is to be the first major city in the country to return to a complete lockdown amid a sharp spike in coronavirus cases. The week-long lockdown, which starts on 15th March, will extend to adjoining areas in the districts of Maharashtra state, where Nagpur is located, has always been a COVID hotspot with the highest number of active and confirmed cases in India. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. The US president aims to get US closer to normal by 4th of July. China official justifies Hong Kong electoral reforms. Nagpur becomes the first major Indian city to return to lockdown. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Nivea along with CIB from 1st to 15th March. Valuable gifts for every bill payment. Our products, our place. CIB.
And in development news, Minister of Tourism Prasanna Ranadunga says the government is planning to resume direct flights from Jaffna to Chennai, which was suspended due to the COVID-19 outbreak. He said that it is expected to be launched under the same bio-bubble concept for tourists and expected to resume between India and Sri Lanka. He further said there are plans to start domestic flights between Ratmalana, Jaffna and Batticaloa soon. Minister Ranadunga added that Jaffna and Batticaloa airports are to be expected to be developed as international airports. He made these comments at the inauguration of the 144 intermediate housing units for Madhu pilgrims. And that came to you in the segment of Development News.
Development News was brought to you by Nivea along with CIB from 1st to 15th March. Valuable gifts for every bill payment. Our products, our place. CIB.
Moving on to sports news, West Indies won the toss and elected to bowl in the second ODI against Sri Lanka in North Sound as they took to seal the series with a win and their first pair of consecutive ODI victories since the year 2014. The home side has made no changes, though the visitors have sprung too. The first was enforced after Angelo Matthews flew back to Sri Lanka to attend to a family matter, essentially removing him from the rest of the tour. In his place comes the batsman Oshada Fernando. The experienced all-rounder Thisara Pereira came in for Kamindu Mendes. Sri Lankan innings ended short a while ago and they were 112 for the loss of 3 wickets after 20 overs. Still in cricket, meanwhile, in the first T20 international night match in Ahmedabad in England won the toss and chose to field. India were 114 for the loss of 6 wickets after 19 overs a short while ago. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
In business news, the first phase of the Alta Mixed Development Project in Slave Island, Colombo, opened today. The iconic high-rise, a residential and commercial shopping complex, is 230 meters high and has 68 floors. The Alta building has 407 luxury apartments of 4 types. The commercial area is 30,000 square feet. The project, which is being implemented to encourage foreign investments, was scheduled to be completed in the year 2017. However, the Urban Development and the Housing Ministry Secretary Sirinimal Pereira said work on the project was halted during the previous regime, and due to the intervention of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the work on the site was resumed. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News. Courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We're at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
In economic news, the national program for providing low-interest loans to small and medium-scale entrepreneurs by the Central Bank was launched in Anuradhapura recently, covering the North Central and Northwestern provinces. Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman provided checks to 50 entrepreneurs symbolically on the occasion as a chief guest. The Central Bank invests 18 billion rupees to implement the program. Samurdhi, Home Economy, Microfinance, Self-Employment and Business Development State Minister Shehan Semasinghe said the livelihoods of rural community will be empowered with the project since the majority of them have been victimized by financing agencies. That was economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Congratulations on your promotion. Heard you gave a treat for everyone in your department yesterday.
Yeah.
When will be our treat, huh?
Well, how about today?
Oh no, I was just joking. We'll have a party with your new salary.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, the weather report. The Meteorology Department forecasts a few showers to occur in the eastern and Nuwa provinces and in the Nuwara, Mathale, Polonnaruwa and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Sabaragamuwa, western and northwestern provinces and in the Gaul, Mathura and Kandy districts in the evening. The Met Department predicts fairly heavy falls about 50 millimeters at some places in these areas. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa, Uva and western provinces during the morning hours. And before we conclude this news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The Prime Minister examines the progress of rural housing projects. Indian envoy tours the north and the east to meet political heads and assess India-funded projects. The Attorney General files indictments on Hizbullah and Shakir. 22 volumes of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry report on Easter Sunday attacks handed over to the Attorney General. COPE instructs to expedite the amendments of environment-related laws of the country. Over 750,000 vaccinated so far. In news overseas, US President Biden aims to get US closer to normal by 4th of July. And in sports news, unchanged West Indies bowling, Sri Lanka pick Fernando and Tisera. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And now it's back to your Friday evening duo on the other side of the glass panel, Indrani Senanaka and Victor Raj, to keep you entertained until the curtains come down.